What is confined space? A confined space is an enclosed or partially enclosed space with limited means of entry or exit and is not intended for continuous human occupancy. Confined spaces may present hazards due to their configuration, size, lack of ventilation, or the presence of hazardous substances, such as gas or chemicals. Examples of confined spaces include tanks, silos, sewers, tunnels, pipelines, and manholes. Due to the potential dangers of confined spaces, special precautions must be taken to ensure the safety of workers who need to enter them, including proper training, equipment, and safety procedures. Hazard and control of confined space. Confined spaces pose a variety of hazards that can put workers at risk of injury or death. These hazards include lack of oxygen or presence of toxic gases. Confined spaces may lack oxygen, or contain hazardous gases that can lead to suffocation or poisoning. Fire and explosion hazards. Flammable gases or liquids can ignite and cause a fire or explosion in a confined space, which can be especially dangerous due to limited means of escape. Physical hazards. Confined spaces may have sharp edges, protrusions, or moving machinery that can cause injury to workers. Engulfment hazards. Workers may be at risk of becoming trapped or engulfed by materials such as grain, sand, or liquid. To control these hazards, it is important to implement proper safety procedures, including entry procedures. A permit to enter system should be used to ensure that only authorized and trained personnel enter the confined space. This should include a pre-entry hazard assessment and testing of the atmosphere. Ventilation. Confined spaces should be properly ventilated to ensure adequate oxygen levels and to remove hazardous gases or vapors. Personal protective equipment. Workers should be provided with appropriate personal protective equipment, such as respiratory protection, fall protection, and protective clothing. Communication. Clear communication procedures should be established between workers inside and outside the confined space to ensure that everyone is aware of potential hazards and can respond quickly in case of an emergency. Rescue procedures. Proper rescue procedures and equipment should be in place to quickly and safely rescue workers in case of an emergency. This may include having a standby person outside the confined space who can provide assistance if needed. By implementing these controls, workers can safely enter and work in confined spaces without being exposed to the various hazards that may be present.